many top sportsmen in lots of different fields. Hasn't been here for a couple of days, but now he's back in Ronnie's corner, just as he was 12 months ago when Ronnie claimed the 4th world title. He's a key member of O'Sullivan's team now.
Whenever I work with people, I try and respect the fact that everyone is unique, they're in a unique environment. So when Ronnie approached me, he expressed what he wanted to do with his emotions, his mind, his thinking, and then the frustrations of why he couldn't do that. And then Ronnie worked with me. So I see people, when I work with them, as students really, and all I'm there to do is give them the equipment to deal with their minds, to work with it in the way they want to work with it. And Ronnie's been an amazing student.
I won the World Championships last year, but for a year before that I was working with Steve, and if I wouldn't have been working with Steve I probably wouldn't have been playing in the first place. He gave me the appetite back to kind of know what it is I want to do, and sometimes you can get in your own way. It's just all about managing your state of mind really, which I can do now. Wish I'd have been able to do that 20 years ago. I'd probably won a lot more, but still, you know, it's okay managing your emotions. You still need to play and perform and execute the shots.
I've worked with a model which is called a chimp model, and really it's a simple way of understanding how the mind works and what the rules are. So when he walks out there to play snooker, inevitably the chimp will kick off and start justifiably saying, I don't want to be here, or this is going to be threatening, and who knows what it'll say. And it's learning what your particular emotions are going to do to you. And then behind that, there's a backup system which I call the computer, which is really to try and understand what are the belief systems you're holding when you go in there, and what are your value systems. Snooker is a steadier game. There's more time to think. It is a unique sport in that you sit back and you can't interfere with your opponent when they're at the table. In most sports you can combat them. When I work with people, I do what I call a mental warm-up, so that we get into the right frame of mind and we lay to rest all the negative thoughts or feelings they might actually be harbouring or might appear. And then we go into a positive mode, but it isn't positive thinking, it's realistic thinking. And we expect to get some negative thoughts breaking through. But we have techniques to work during competition in order to keep his emotions at bay. Ronnie's worked on these outside of the snooker hall. He'll come back asking questions and then he'll practice them, so again it is a skill.
There's no doubt that he's been a big influence on Ronnie in the last 2 or 3 years. He looks very comfortable around the snooker table. He looks like when he's there he's in a cocoon where nothing in the outside world can affect him.
Looks fully focused to me. Every single shot's getting 100%. Obviously he's had Dr. Steve Peters here to help him this week, and he's obviously doing a very good job. He looks totally determined.
I fit in around Steve, that's how it works really. I don't try and demand his time because I know he's a busy guy and everybody wants him, so I just make the effort. I block out 4 or 5 days. I go to Steve's house and I say, well, look, when you've got a free hour, I'm here. And we just kind of do it like that, and we talk a lot and Skype a lot, and but just knowing that I've got someone like Steve there to help me through, you know, some tricky situations.
We all feel pressure under certain circumstances, and Ronnie's saying I learn how to deal with it now rather than just succumb to it and react to it. So it's a learning process again. He's much better this year than he was last year, and each year he's making improvements, so long may it continue.
Well, there's no doubt that O'Sullivan has certainly benefited from Dr. Peters' help, although there was an incident last night which perhaps belies and betrays the pressure that he is feeling. He's alleged to have made an inappropriate gesture in the 23rd frame, and he was informally reprimanded by referee Michaela Tabb. Don't make obscene gestures, okay? And Ronnie joked, I want to go home. World Snooker has said that Ronnie was given an informal warning and they'll be keeping an eye on his behaviour. Now, the evidence, frankly, is inconclusive about that gesture, but perhaps we should talk more in general terms about the pressure that perhaps is manifesting itself out there at the table, John.
I think he's handling it great, I have to be honest with you. The last session last night, came to the final frame, looked like he might have been getting a bit tired of this, that and the other. The final break in that frame was fantastic to lead 14-10. So as far as I'm concerned, it's business as usual.
Indeed, and it's certainly been business as usual at the table, and particularly in the opening frame of every session, which he's won every time. What a fantastic record, and a wonderful start to any session as you go out to the Crucible.
Yes, he has looked very, very focused, as John said, and very determined. I mean, even when he plays safety shot, he's looking down the shot when the shot is already played. He's looking to see, has he got the snooker, you know, and that tells a lot about a player as well, that they're really up for it, you know. Sometimes you might just go back to your table, not really worry about where the cue ball lands, but you watch him. He's watching and he's up, and as soon as Judd misses, he's up on the shot. He's almost in behind him, ready to pounce like a tiger prowling around the table. And that will tell you a lot about his sort of focus when he's out there. But he's brought a lot of heat on himself, you know, with different incidents this week. Steve Peters has his job cut out over the next few days, no doubt about that. Yeah, he's going to earn his crust.
Yeah. I was actually in the Crucible last night watching the first 4 frames of that. It was fantastic to just sit in there and be a part of it and feel the tension that there was in the room. Steve, what do you assess Judd Trump's job to be? It's a big task he has ahead of him. What does he need to do for you?
Well, he's probably got to play the best session of his life, and that's not guaranteed to be enough. But all you can do is go out and hope to get off to a good start in the session, and that's really about it, and then see where it leads him.
John?
You're talking about pressures, but one thing that's got to be mentioned here, he has been off for 11 months, stroke 12 months. He's walked back in here to the equivalent of the SAS assault course. He's come straight back into the Crucible, where it's first to 10, first to 13, first to 13, 17, then 18. And it's the hardest tournament you will play in. He's not come back in having a couple of PTCs where it's first to 4. This is the toughest place to play, and he's come straight back into it.
Yeah, he's certainly attempting what many considered as mission impossible, but he's there, he's right there. And so indeed, of course, is Judd Trump. Now, Judd can summon memories of a brilliant fight back against Shaun Murphy in the quarter-final, and this fella is not short on confidence either.
You don't know me at all.
Anyone that knows me and knows me before I got to the World Final with my first tournament knows that I haven't changed. I don't think fame changes you, it just changes others around you. Everyone sort of forms an opinion even if they don't know you. I consider myself one of the only normal people on tour.
You don't know me. You don't know me at all.
In my opinion, it's gone pretty good. I've had 1 or 2 bad tournaments, but I think a lot of people off the table have kind of exaggerated that I've been playing badly when I haven't. So I think I was more than prepared for this tournament, and if I could go out and win this, then I think it would be a pretty good season. I made it #1 this season, so if I could kind of do them both in the same year, that would be perfect. And I think if I did win it, I think I would go to #1 as well, so it wouldn't really get a lot better than that, and I'm still pretty young, so if I can get the winning out of the way, then hopefully I can go on and be a multiple world champion.
I think he gets a little bit unfair criticism sometimes. A lot of people think he's a limelight and this and that, and yeah, he enjoys his clothes, he enjoys his cars, but I know Judd, because obviously we're practising the same, and he's always in there practising at 10:30, 11 in the morning. You know, he's not like Stephen Hendry who does 6-7 hours a day, but he doesn't need to, you know, he just does maybe a couple of hours in the morning. I think he goes back and plays another couple of hours in the night, so he plays more than me.
For me, you got to beat the best players, and he seems like the only person in the tournament that has really had kind of an easy route through. So I think I'm one of probably only 2 or 3 players that have got the confidence to beat him and scare him, really. I've got a lot of belief in myself, and I think a lot of players like that.
You don't know me. You don't know me at all. You don't know me at all.
And we're about 5 minutes away from their walk-ons in the Crucible Theatre this afternoon. Now, we heard from Terry Griffiths early in our programme, and the man who lifted the trophy in 1979, his very first attempt, by the way, well remembers what it's like to be within touching distance of a place in a Crucible final.
So far, there has only been 17 players crowned as champion of the world at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield in its 36-year history. 2 of our great champions, John Spencer and Alex Higgins, are not with us anymore. They are sadly missed, but will always be remembered as champions at the Crucible. So why is it so special? It is where history has been formed in our sport. It is where dreams are fulfilled or shattered. Players who never make it to the Crucible will feel an emptiness inside. They will have no story for their grandchildren. It has become an iconic venue alongside other great venues across the globe. So what effect does it have on the players? For any debutant, it will be a fascinating adventure into uncharted territory. It becomes a throne or a prison. There are no dark tunnels in the Crucible, but at times you wish there were, so that you can escape the glare of the bright lights. It is a place that forces you to learn who you are, the strength of your beliefs, the depth of your doubts. When you get up from your chair and walk to the table, there is no feeling in your legs, and you struggle to remember your name. It is not a place for the faint-hearted, but it is said that all great journeys begin with a single step. For those that have been there previously without success, the questions will always be, how much baggage are they carrying? Have they got rid of the psychological scars? Some say that if you lick the lollipop of mediocrity once, you suck forever. Often you can cope with the despair of defeat, but not your hope of victory. Former champions will be better prepared for what the Crucible throws at them. They will feel so proud and yet humble when they see their photos hanging on the walls in the Crucible. When they walk into the Crucible, their step quickens, their chest sticks out, and their shoulders lift. They stand tall. They are also aware of the effects that come with the package, the sleepless nights, the loss of appetite, the wide span of nervous exhaustion. How to manage the sitting out time in the chair when the demons are dancing cartwheels in your head and your opponent is on the rampage. A great venue to play, but it can become barren and devoid of comfort. Champions don't feel inhibited by the fear of failure, but are stimulated and motivated by it. They are different. They find a way to win. The man who lifts the trophy after 17 days will have earned it. The Crucible is where it all happens. It is the theatre of dreams, and some would say where dreams go to die. It grabs the attention of the world. It has become part of the fabric of our sport, stitched into its history, and long may it continue.
And so say all of us, Terry. Now there's Judd Trump. What can he do to stop the rocket this afternoon? Ronnie within 3 frames of a place in his 5th World Championship final. While the Crucible Theatre was crackling with noise and excitement last night. And for the lucky 900 or so who've got tickets for this afternoon, we're going to do it all again now. I know Ronnie's waiting in the wings. And right out front, waiting, is our MC, Rob Walker.
Thanks, Hazel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's days like this that top players live for. Last night was deafening, and this afternoon this Crucible crowd are rising to their feet to once again greet two of the most amazing players on the circuit. We've never seen an atmosphere like this for a semi-final, and there's only one place left up for grabs in the Betfair World Snooker Championship final. It is going to be absolutely electric. Please welcome a player who had us all on the edge of our seats last night. He has shown character and maturity in this Crucible campaign, and he still believes the dream is alive here this afternoon. He came back from 8-3 against Sean Murphy in the quarterfinals, and he needs to dig deep again this afternoon. He's bold, he's attacking, he's fearless, he's the pioneer of a new generation. He's the ace in the pack, he's Judd Trump!